Ladies and gentlemen, it has now been almost officially 1 month since Pokemon Scarlet and Violet released on the Nintendo Switch. And mind you, for that past month, so much stuff has happened with these two games to the point where, despite patches and awesome content and gameplay and all that kind of stuff, yeah, this game still sucks. But despite the fact of me saying that this game utterly sucks, I've already covered that in a different Pokemon video called The Disrespect of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is Real. So if you wanna hear me talk about all the negative aspects of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, then that's the place for you. But this particular video, despite intro, is all about throwing and tying everything back to a previous Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video that I made almost 8 freaking months ago, where looking back on that video, holy shit, I nailed so many things about this game right in terms of performance, graphics, gameplay, content, and story that I gotta cover this all today, folks. So yeah, expect this to be completely off the cuff. There's no script other than freaking talking points that I have here on my phone, and we're just gonna ride this one out. Man, that's quite the intro I already started off with. Can't wait to see the rest of this video go off. But yes, the contents of today's video is going to be exclusively about the things that I was right all along in terms of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and also ultimately what this game did right at the end of the day. So whether or not you see this thumbnail or that thumbnail, at the end of the day, what is certain is that the contents of this video is going to be 100% observational, personal, and sometimes accurate to some degree. I'm telling you, the foresight in me this past year when it came to video game stuff was just phenomenal. So, I mean, clearly I gotta throw some of that in with this one. But without further ado, let's begin this conversation of what exactly Pokemon Generation 9 did right. And the first thing, obviously, it is its content. Without a doubt, regardless of performance issues and frame rates and glitches and bugs and all that kind of mess that we have experienced for the past month of this game so far, all in all, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's content is absolutely some of the best I've ever experienced out of a Pokemon game. Bar none, it is easily comparable to that of Legends in terms of Pokemon catchability, overworld aspects, the grandiose nature of what this adventure has in store for us, and so much more. And especially in Scarlet and Violet's case, where we have the 3 routes that, although the trailers kind of say that, oh, you get to pick one of these and that's your entire adventure, in actuality, you do all of these and then you go on to do the final area of the game, which I do not want to spoil at all, despite the fact that I am going to cover its story here, because that story is absolutely phenomenal. But going back to content, the 3 story routes that we've had for this game is absolutely the best idea I've seen out of a Pokemon game. Even though at the end of the day we have to do all of them to unlock the true ending, the fact that we get to at least choose how we want to cover each and every route first is what I love the most. The route of Team Star, the Path of Legends, the obvious Gym Leader Challenge, all of that is what I love in terms of the way they executed all of that, and the content as well, with the Pokedex, with the classroom settings that you get. There's like a Persona-esque style of content in this game, in the sense that you take classes and you get to experience and talk personally with each of your teachers and you grow closer to them. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff and content about this game that honestly no other Pokemon generation has even stepped foot in doing. And regardless of what we say about the Play-Doh graphics, which I've already stated in the Disrespect video, at the end of the day, content-wise, this is easily one of the best Pokemon games in terms of what they threw at us for us to experience and enjoy as these upcoming Pokemon trainers. Plus, I mean, you gotta give them credit. They made school fun. Like, how did they make that possible? But obviously, in terms of content, you need to have characters involved in it. And one of the many things that I know that Pokemon Scarlet did absolutely right on is in characterization. Like I'm telling you, when everybody says that they enjoy every single character of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, including their own protagonist, that says a lot in terms of the direction they took for the characters involved in the region of Paldea, not only from a content perspective, but also from a characterization, and we'll go over the story, but also from the story perspective. And that says a lot when we also consider the fact that the majority of time you're going to be spending with is either with the Team Star members that you go around, like the 5 bases that you explore, the 5 Titans with Arvin and his backstory and why he wants to, you know, travel Paldea, and then of course the obvious gym challenges with Nemona, basically being freaking Goku. Like I'm telling you, Nemona is Goku, and I absolutely love that. Like she wants to have a battle with you each and every single time you enter a gym. Like she's out there and she stalks you. She even mentions like, no, I'm not, you know. So all these characterizations, all these characters you interact, including the gym leaders and their own quirkiness and personalities, that's what I love, and absolutely what Scarlet and Violet did right. They made sure to make Paldea feel so alive in terms of not only what to offer content and gameplay wise, but also from a characterization and story point like elements. And that is what absolutely Game Freak needs to hone on, because the last time we had that was with Legends and how they kind of explained the origins of Sinnoh with the Hisui region and the Almighty Sinnoh and the Diamond Clan and the Pearl clans and all their respective characters, and obviously in Jubilife Village. And then you could argue with Generation 5, the last time they actually took a major emphasis on story detailing and characterizations, we can go all the way back. But for now, with Generation 9, I mean, the characters are just phenomenal. Like, you cannot tell me there is no, at least, like, C tier, we can argue Rika, but hey, that it is what it is. Everybody else is above that, and honestly, for the better. Well, now me saying Rika being C tier is definitely gonna piss some people off, but hey, it is what it is. I'm a Cynthia guy, mind you. But I know for the majority of this off-the-cuff, full-on improvised video that I've been doing, which now looking back at the footage and all that, I kind of wish I did a script for it, but hey, this gives me a better idea for a different Pokemon-based video. But to finish this one off though, we have to obviously talk about the story, and the story is what a lot of people who have played Scarlet and Violet have really appreciated in terms of what the full-on direction Game Freak wants to do, not only from what I've mentioned, but what they plan to do moving forward. And we know for a fact that when it comes to Pokemon, there is no like mature storyline or a serious story beats and elements. Like, we know these games aren't like Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, The World Ends With You. Let's see what other RPGs are out there. Digimon Cyber Sleuth. What else? Like any other RPG that you can name in the comments down below. We know that Pokemon doesn't take a very serious direction in terms of its story. We know that for a fact. But with Scarlet and Violet here, they actually took that into consideration and said, hey, let's actually make a very important story here that will really drive home the idea and the theme of what we want this generation to be, and how we can kind of play along with it down the line, whether it's a hopeful expansion pass with this game, and maybe next year, who's to say for sure, or just what the entire generation this one has to offer, like anything of that sort. Game Freak knows that they want to actually provide a good story for people to experience, and that's what I think Scarlet and Violet absolutely nailed the most with its 3 routes. They wanted you to understand the characterizations of the world and what Paldea has to offer, and how each and every character sort of lives within its confounds, but the moment that you finish all those routes and you learn about the history of every single character, and the moment you head to that final area and witness what I would consider to be Xenoblade Chronicles level of story like elements for a Pokemon game, mind you, that absolutely says a lot. And that also says that Game Freak is listening to a lot of fans since Generation 5 about wanting a better story direction, in terms of wanting a story that is integrated with the region. And like I said, the last time we've had that was with Unova and Generation 5, where the entire journey had a major focus in understanding what it meant to be a Pokemon trainer. And here with Scarlet and Violet, all those 3 routes kind of demonstrated what our purpose as a Pokemon trainer is supposed to be. Whether it's uncovering legends with Arven, or whether it's being the strongest Pokemon trainer with Nemona, or just having friends and a sort of level of appreciation and understanding of this, you know, standing up for yourself like Penny and Team Star taught us. And all of that is what I want to hammer in home in terms of the story of what Scarlet and Violet presented. And when you learn all of that, and when you appreciate all of that, then that end credit with Ed Sheeran really hits. And like, I'm not an Ed Sheeran fan, but when I listen to that song after finishing the final area of the game and learning everything about the final area of the game, especially with Arven, my poor boy, my homie, and all of that, this game is absolutely a 10 out of 10 for me. overall, these are my observations and personal feelings towards what I think Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did right. And mind you, if you disagree with all this, we have a comment section for a reason. Like, this is what I love making these videos for. We can engage having a decent and respectful conversation in the comments below. And hey, if you really want me to talk in and have a more in-depth conversation about all of these things, I by all means wouldn't mind doing a more elaborate and scripted version of these videos. The thing is that I kind of wanted to make a script for this, but I already have plans for another video that has a script for that. And so writing another one for this, it would be so much work. So I think it was best for me in the long run to just take my feelings out, pour them all in for everybody to see and enjoy and criticize and blah blah blah. But also take note that for those that do feel the same way, I'm with you on that. Like, I genuinely believe Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is one of the best games that are out there for Pokemon to date. Notwithstanding the whole frame rate issues, I understand all of that. I already made a video on that. But tying what I was worried about in this game 8 months ago, yeah, that was basically the only thing I was worried about. Frame rate issues and gameplay mechanics, like whatever, like that. But story, characterization, and everything else, man, like, I can't believe 8-month-old me kind of had an understanding of what this game was really offering. And like, I nailed absolutely everything. Like, the story had to be important, and the story is important. The gameplay had to be top-notch. The gameplay is top-notch, whether you use Terrasilize or not, like all of that. Like, there are so many things that Game Freak did absolutely right with this game that a lot of people need to understand that and just forget about the frame rate issues for a quick second. Like, yeah, those exist, but that's not the major critique to what Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has at the end of the day. Everything else is a good game. Everything else about this game is phenomenal, and that's kind of what my major focus of with this video was kind of meant to be. But yeah, that is honestly all I have to say about Scarlet and Violet for now, because now looking back, I kind of have a video plan for you guys, and yes, that will be scripted. But if you enjoy this off the cuff video and all my improvised thoughts and feelings and just me going through the motions with this video, then we have a like button for a reason, we have a subscribe button for a reason, and we have a comment section for the reason, because I want to have this conversation with you guys. And honestly, for those that know the lore of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, let's have that conversation in the comments, my guys, because I have a lot to talk about. Like, there's so much lore in this game that I think if I were to make an entire video series about this, I might. But for now, we have a comment section, and I've said what I've said. I got other projects to deal with, other scripts to write, and other things to look forward to as the 2022 season is almost closing in on us. So thank you all for watching. Love you all to 120. Stay safe and sexy out there. Be awesome. Peace out and take care.